Flosstube. Welcome back to Bumble Stitches. My name's Nicola and this is my Flosstube episode. I need to check my notes. Number 18. Today is Sunday the 11th of July. And as you can see, it's another beautiful sunny day here in Suffolk on the east coast of England. And I hope whatever season you're in where you live, you're having a lovely day too. Well, it's been a little while, but I'm back today with lots to share with you. So I hope you've all been doing well since I saw you last and enjoying lots of stitching and sewing time while I've been away. And yes, it has been quite a busy time, lots of things, lots of work going on and all the usual stuff that goes with it, but I won't bore you all to tears with that. First of all, I'd like to say a really big warm welcome to any new subscribers that have found my channel. So thank you for checking in, and if you've subscribed, a big thank you for that. And if you are one of my lovely returning viewers, then it's really good to be back with you all again today. I have lots to share with you today. I've got a couple of little bits of what I'm terming admin. I wanted to get sorted in this first little section of the video, and then we can move on to looking at some of the pretty things. First thing I wanted to mention, I do need to check my notes because I am just so scatterbrained these days, and if I don't write things down, it seems that I immediately forget them. So I mentioned in my last video that I was considering doing starting a Patreon channel. And if you're not familiar, Patreon is a platform where creators of videos, etc., can share their work, and people can completely voluntarily, of course, choose to be a patron or a subscriber, and there is a small fee, normally with tiers of subscription levels, starting very, very low, often around £1 or £2 pounds, or the equivalent in dollars or your local currency each month. And depending on your level of subscription, you get more content for the level that you're subscribed to. I got lots of comments about it last time, and most of you were very, very positive, so thank you for that. Nobody was negative at all. Of course, some people had mentioned that for whatever reason, it wasn't for them, if it wasn't in their budget, or they didn't particularly want to contribute in a monetary way to any sort of craft related videos and tutorials and that kind of thing, which is absolutely fine. I totally get that. But the overall feedback was positive, and it is something that I am going to be doing moving forward. So I will keep you posted on that. I just need to get all my ducks in a row so that I can do it properly and get some good plans of the sort of content that I'm going to be doing. So I will keep you posted on Patreon. Now, while I'm talking about Patreon, I have actually popped a link in the description box, which you'll find just down below underneath this video, to a Ko-fi account. And again, if you're not familiar, Ko-fi is it's a virtual tip jar is the best way of describing it. And the reason I've popped that down in the description box below is entirely because of giveaways. As you know, I'm very fortunate to receive giveaway items from Fat Quarter Shop and other companies, and some of you lovely viewers have sent in charts and all manner of things to be shared on these Flosstubes, and I love giving back to you guys and sharing what I receive with you all. And of course, so many of you are all around the world, not just here in the UK, and I don't ever want to feel that I have to exclude anybody because of where they live, because I value each and every one of you that subscribe and watch my videos. So the point I'm getting to is that, as you may or may not know, fairly recently I started a new job, as I was made redundant from my old job, and unfortunately that is at quite a considerably lower salary than I'm used to earning. Now, I'm not going to bore you all and go into all the doldrums of finances and things like that, but suffice to say that it's a bit of a struggle now for me to afford to post everything out internationally. and as I said, I do not want to exclude anybody. So I thought, to help with postage, if I popped a coffee link down in the description box, completely voluntarily, if anybody would like to buy me a coffee, I think is the term they use. It's just so that I have a little bit of a float for postal charges to enable me to keep sending giveaway prizes out to you wherever you might be in the world. And as I've always said, it doesn't matter where you are, if you're in Australia or New Zealand, or you're in the United States or Canada or anywhere in Europe, absolutely fine. I'm more than happy to share with you all. So I'm not going to go on about that anymore, but the link is down below, and I do truly appreciate your support on that if you can. Another thing I wanted to mention today, and it's a sad note, lots of you will be aware, I'm sure, of the very sad passing of Barb Adams of Blackbird Designs last week, and I wanted to offer my deepest condolences to Barb's family and friends on that very sad occasion. Obviously, being here in the UK and not been stitching very long, I never had the opportunity to meet Barb. I know lots of Flosstubers had, and had the most wonderful things to say about her, but I still feel that the needlework community and sewing community has lost a great contributor from all her beautiful designs. So I have seen on Instagram there is actually currently a stitch along of Barb's Magical Mystery Tour designs, which she was a huge Beatles fan, and she designed those to celebrate her love of the Beatles. I'll pop the hashtag along the bottom of the screen if any of you wanted to join in with that. And it concentrates on things like the Strawberry Fields Forever chart. I think there's Eleanor Rigby, Blackbird, The Long and Winding Road, and I think Octopus's Garden. I think that's all of them. But yes, if you wanted to join along with that, and I'm sure that somewhere up above, Barb will be looking down and be truly happy that everyone was still enjoying all her beautiful designs. Okay, I had some happy mail recently from a lovely viewer called Kath. So thank you, Kath. And she sent along, for a start, she sent a beautiful card with some gorgeous vintage roses on. So thank you, Kath, that was lovely. And Kath reached out to me because she'd been fortunate in, I can't get my words straight today, she was fortunate enough to win a giveaway, I think it was from the housewives, from Priscilla and Chelsea, of a couple of quilting patterns from Fat Quarter Shop. So it was these two, and I did actually have these as a giveaway a couple of episodes ago. So they are the Stella quilt pattern and the Merry Making quilt pattern. And Kath said to me, I'm not a quilter and won't be using these, so would you like to have them as giveaways for your channel? So that was so kind of you, Kath, thank you. And it wasn't just these that she sent, she also sent along some other cross stitch patterns. There's a few here, I'll just give you a little sneaky peek. Lovely one here from Kathy Barrick, and a gorgeous Christmas chart there as well. So they will all be going into the giveaway pile for future episodes. And there will be giveaways in this episode too, but I'll get to those a little bit later on. Okay, so let's pop those down there. Today's quite a big day in England specifically. If you're in the UK and in Europe, you'll probably know that today is the finals of what would have been the Euro 2020 football tournament, or soccer, and England are actually through to the final. So there's a big buzz of excitement around the country today because it's something that hasn't happened to our men's football team for 55 years. So quite a lot of excitement going on in the country today. So I'm going to get all this episode done and uploaded so that we can sit and cheer our England team on tonight. And I don't know why I just interjected that, but it just suddenly occurred to me that I hadn't mentioned it. And I know that, yeah, it is actually quite a big deal for us. So if you can all wish us luck, we are playing Italy tonight. So fingers crossed for the England team. Okay, I'm going to move on now to a couple of finished objects, which hasn't happened for a while. They're not fully finished. I'm not quite that on the ball. But I'll show you what I've been up to cross stitch wise for finishes, and I do have a little sewing finish to show you as well. So let me try and get organised. So I was stitching the stitch cards from Laurie Holt, being my bonnet, and this is set H, the little farmyard animals. And I was doing these at lunchtimes from work. I just had a little bag that I keep in the car, and they were a nice easy stitch. I stitched them on Ada, and I was able to do that without my magnifier, and they're a nice little project just to work on at lunchtimes. So here are the finished items. So we have here the milk cow and the happy horse. So hopefully you can see those nice and clearly. And we also have the woolly sheep. I think it's called woolly sheep. Hang on one second. Is it called woolly sheep? Woolly sheep and penny pig. So those are all complete. I did have to do a little bit of back stitching around the sheep to make him stand out a little bit more. In camera it's showing up quite clearly, but the I think it was an ecru thread that I used was disappearing into the colour of the Ada, so a little bit of back stitching just helped him pop a bit. So I'll be finishing those as little pillows using the tutorial from Laurie Holt's YouTube channel, and I'll share them with you hopefully next time if I can get some sewing machine time in. And what I plan to do is, now that I've completed these, I'm going to pop these into my pile of giveaways as well, because it's doubtful that I would stitch them again, so it'd be nice to share them with you if you don't mind stitching a pattern that I've already stitched. So that was one FO, and I must point out I've got my, just for a little bit of behind the scenes information, just alongside me here I've got my ironing board really low because it's handy to put all the things that I need for podcasting. And somebody, namely Bruce the cat, the not my cat that's always visiting, has decided to pop in through the conservatory door while it's open, and he's now sitting on the end of it. So I might have to throw him off in a minute to retrieve all my things. Okay, so the next finished item that I have is from this chart. Again, it's another Laurie Holt pattern published by It's So Emma, and a nice simple one. Again, this is something that I did a little bit of at lunchtimes, and I've got a finish which is here. So you can see nice bold letters, an easy stitch. I stitched this on a 28 count, I think it is a Monaco, I think, and I just chose some colours that I thought would match really well with this piece of fabric, which is also by Laurie Holt, and I'm not sure, I'm trying to see on the selvage, I can't remember which range this is from. This is from Vintage Happy 2 by Laurie, and I'm just going to put it on my board with the stitching next to it so you can get some idea of how they play together. And the plan is to make a stitchy project bag with that fabric and that little stitched panel, so I hope that's going to look really pretty when it's all done, and of course I'll share that with you as well when I get around to completing it. The next thing I've made is actually a project bag. I wanted to share it with you. Now this isn't for me, this is actually a gift for somebody, and I think she sometimes watches my channel, but I'm not going to say who it is yet because it will be a surprise. But I had some of this lovely Cath Kidston London fabric in stash from absolutely ages ago. I bought it from the Cath Kidston outlet store in St Ives in Cambridgeshire, or St Neots, sorry, if anyone's interested. There is an outlet store there, and I bought some fabric so you can see it better on the back there. So really pretty. Buckingham Palace, Tower Bridge, St Paul's Cathedral, Houses of Parliament, London buses and taxis, and all those wonderful iconic London images on there. And then I just made some fabric strips and some twill tape to make the Union Jack on the front. And it's all lined with the same fabric. So I was really pleased with that, and to actually sit down and get some sewing done was a really nice afternoon spent. I think that was about 2 weeks ago that I made it, but really enjoyed getting the sewing machine going again. So that is, those are my finished objects, and I do hope to have some finished cross stitch objects next episode to share with you. Now I'm going to put this somewhere out of the way of tiny pussycat feet. I've got some questions now from last episode, just a few. I'd like to just go through those. Okay, the first one was from Suzanne, and Suzanne asked me about my fabric that I'm using for Anniversaries of the Heart. I don't have it to share with you today because there's been no progress on it. But Suzanne, I am using a 30 count legacy linen, which I bought from Hoop and Frame, and the colourway was pecan. I think it's pecan shortbread, but it was definitely pecan something. So I hope that helps, because I think you said you were having trouble seeing to stitch on the fabric you'd chosen. So it's a 30 count. It's quite a big count, and I'm having no trouble with it. I'm really enjoying stitching on that. Anne asked me, what do I do with all my finishes? Where do I put them, and what do I do with them? Well, Anne, actually I don't have that many finishes. The things that I have finished so far, I've made quite a few pillows from, especially the little tiny, the little smalls that I've done. I use them just for decorating in my tiered tray in the dining room. I haven't got anything framed yet, certainly not professionally framed. I've done some stuff on like mount board. I did a Halloween finish that I put on mount board, and just bought a sort of like a home decor piece in a shop called The Range, and just painted over the design that was on it and used that as a basis. So yeah, it's my finishes are my finishes are a work in progress, if that makes sense. I've still got lots of things to finish, but I do plan to get quite a few things framed once they're complete and hang them on the walls, which is, you know, where ultimately I want to see a lot of my finished pieces in time, especially in the hallway. I think would be quite nice. I've got quite a lot of hello. As you can see, we've got a visitor. Are you going to sit there and be good? So yes, so if that answers your question, Anne. Janet asked, she was saying kind words about the music at the beginning of the last episode. It was a piano piece, and she asked, was it me playing the piano? And I must admit, I did laugh when I read that comment. Those of you that have been following me for a while will know that Justin bought me an electric piano at Christmas time, and of course, like anyone with a new toy, I was all gung-ho and trying to learn to play the piano, and as time got shorter and other things sort of took priority, it fell by the wayside. And unfortunately the electric piano is actually currently back in its box in the corner of the craft room, so I'm not sure how that's going to carry on into the future. But no, Janet, that actually was not me playing the piano, and if I could play like that, I would be doing it all the time. So those are your questions, so thank you. And I've just caught up today with emails from you and comments, so thank you all for your interaction, and as always, apologies if I don't get back to you that quickly, but I do try and get back to you eventually, and I hope that's okay with you. Okay, I'd like to go on to my whips now. I'm just going to have a very quick drink and I'll be back in just a second. Back to my whips. As you know, I did mention last time that I was going to be partaking in some Christmas in July. And other than that, I've got a couple of whips that are non-Christmassy that I have done a little bit of stitching on. The first one is I am still enjoying stitching on my Hello Sunshine Sal. which is a mystery 5-month stitch along from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And as you can see, I've got a bit more done of the tree and the beautiful flamingo, and of course the star of the show here is this gorgeous little toucan needle minder. Now part 2 is already out, and as usual I'm playing catch up, but obviously I can't share the chart with you, but be reliably informed that this little guy appears in part 2, and I can't wait to get further along and get him stitched as well, so he can be a little bit of birdie company for the flamingo here. I'll show you my threads that I'm using. They all came in the kit, which came from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and I'm using my strawberry bag to keep it in. And if I just reach in here, I can show you the gorgeous threads here. They're all DMC. I have decanted them onto thread holders myself, but they did come on a thread card previously. So really loving stitching with these beautiful vibrant colours, especially while the weather's like this. There's just something so fresh and bright about them that makes it such good fun. So I will share my progress as I continue along with this. And this is on a 28 count even weave. Looks kind of like a, excuse that bit of thread, might be a Murano, I'm not actually sure, but it's the fabric that came with the kit and it's beautiful. It's a Zweigart fabric, so really loving stitching on those little guys there. So I'll pop that one to one side. And the only other non-Christmassy stitching that I've been doing since I saw you last is, and it's not a lot of progress, but I will share it with you anyway because progress is progress. I stitch a little bit more border of Cross Stitches My Grounding Force, which is this pattern from the super talented Beth Twist. And as you can see, she stitches it on a dark fabric. I think it's a dark navy, but I've chosen this fabric that I over dyed myself. And I'm using all the called for, I think she calls for, I'm trying to get these threads to sit nicely. I think she calls for over dyed flosses, but I bought the DMC equivalents, which she gives you in the chart. And I'm stitching this one strand of DMC over 2 strands of the 32 count linen. So that's my progress on that one. But everything has been put on the back burner while I concentrate on some Christmas projects, which I'd like to show you next. I'm just going to retrieve these threads because Bruce is actually still down here, and he's looking very interested in my DMC. So I'm going to grab those because I think they'd make a really good toy for a pussycat, but that's not very good for me. So let's move these out of the way and let's have a little talk about Christmas in July. So I've got all my, everything's in my lovely big basket that my mum bought me at Christmas last year. And I've got some old WIPs that I've retrieved from my big pile of WIPs, and I've got a couple of new starts and a couple of things that I'm still waiting on and in anticipation of starting, which might not happen in July, but I need to get planning ahead for Christmas because let's face it, otherwise it's not going to happen. So one of the things I really wanted to do is I stitched this piece last year, which is the Merry and Minty, which was a free chart put out very generously by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread, and I stitched this all using DMC as well. And this, I believe, is a 32 count, I think it was called Straw by R&R. And one of my plans for this month is to get this fully finished. I've got some Lady Dot Creates velveteen to use as the backing. I'm going to make it into a little pillow, and I'm just waiting on some chenille trim to finish it off because I think it will look really nice done kind of traditionally and make a really cute little addition to my Christmas decorations this year. So that's on my list, that's high on my list of priorities for Christmas in July. Sorry to keep fiddling with my hair, I've just dried it, and you know when you just had a shower and dried your hair and then you come into a warm conservatory? Well, it is quite hot in here, so forgive me for fiddling. I'll tell you about why I've got these fabrics out in a moment as well. Okay, the next thing I'm working on, just in this is an old knitting project bag that I've repurposed, and this is my current car stitching, lunchtime stitching, stitchy spot, whatever the weather dictates. Some more lovely stitch cards from Holt of Be in My Bonnet, and this is set C with all the little Christmas and wintry themes. And so far I have almost completed the ice skate, and my plan is to get the rest of those at least started. And I've got a bit of a jumble of still bobbinated DMC that I'm using for those. They are the called for, but that was pre floss drops. And I must admit, I do really like my floss drops. I find it time consuming to use bobbins. So that's one of my WIPs for Christmas in July, and I'm running out of place to put things, so I'm just going to have to throw that down on the ground. The next thing is in one of my own project bags that I made last year, and in here we have, if I can find the pattern, this is Hands-On Design, the Merry Chalkful, which was the collaboration with Priscilla of Stitching with the Housewives, with the little Santas coming out of the mason jar. And I've got a bit of progress on this. I did start it last year, and let's organise a little bit here. So this is my progress so far, and I can't remember the colour name of this fabric, but it is a Zweigart 32 count linen, and I think it was charcoal. I think that was the colourway. And I'm using for this all the called for over dyed flosses. I think they're mostly classic colourworks and gentle arts, and there's also a red which has split on the tag, so it's fallen off, licorice red. So I'm well on the way with this one, so you never know, I may even get a finish on that one. Put that one back. Okay, what's next? Some of these haven't seen the light of day since last Christmas. Another project bag that I made with the lovely Urban Chicks Jolly Snowman fabric. And I think in here it's my Little Dove Designs Christmas Wishes, it's called. This is from Little Dove Designs. Just hold that a little bit closer so you can see. It's a long, narrow piece. And I did actually do the Halloween one, which was exactly the same dimensions as this. So my plan is, when this is finished, to switch them out and just use the same finishing piece. I'm using all DMC for these, for this pattern. Just put them on some homemade floss drops there. And let's show you, where did we get to? We've still got a needle and thread hanging from this one, so let's pop that on there. And this is a 28 count Monaco fabric. Sorry, I haven't ironed this. This is literally as it's come out of the bag. So you can see I'm probably about the halfway point. So again, this is low hanging fruit, isn't it, for a finish? If you're at the halfway point or beyond, then you've really got an end in sight, haven't you? So I'm looking forward to getting some more stitches done on this one, and at least as I know that I have the finishing item for it, there's all the more incentive to get that one done. So I'm going to be a good girl and pop this one back in its bag. So I hope some of you are joining in with Christmas in July. Do let me know in the comments if you are and what you're stitching on, because I think it's although it is a bit incongruous the way the weather is here at the moment, certainly today, it's nice to feel like you're getting something done in advance, because as we know, the time flies by so quickly, and the next thing we know it will be the autumn, and then the panic sets in for getting those Christmas finishes done. Next up is a new start, and this is a pattern that I bought on Etsy, and it's from Spooky and Steve. It's a PDF download. The North Pole Milk and Cookie Company, and how cute is that? It only uses 3 colours of DMC, and I'll show you again. I don't have a lot of progress, but a start is a start. I don't even have a project bag, look, it's just sitting in here. I've got 3 colours of DMC, which are black, the red is 816 and the green is 163. You can see really lovely Christmassy colours there. And a little bit of progress. And this was a leftover piece of 28 count, I think it was Monaco. And I've literally just started at the corner there. But the piece is just the right size. And I'm planning to get this one done because I thought it would look really nice as a piece for the kitchen at Christmas time, just to have framed and sort of put, not professionally framed, but you know, to find some way of finishing it, to stand it maybe on the kitchen windowsill, just to make it a little bit more festive at Christmas time when you spend so much time in your kitchen, and just to see a little bit of cross stitching I thought would be really cute. So really enjoying that one. As I said, Spooky and Steve, and you can find them on Etsy. So that was a new start, and now I'm really getting to the oldie goldies now, because in here, this is a bit of a saga. In this bag, which is one of the first cross stitch project bags I made with a vinyl front, is my Glitter Village from, I think, is it Little House or Country Cottage Needleworks? Let's find out. It is by Country Cottage Needleworks, and there are a series of 9 patterns. So each one, you're probably familiar with these, each one, so that's number 1. Let's quickly go through them because you might not have seen them. I think I've got them in order. Number 2, number 3, number 4, cute with the little reindeer, number 5, the little chapel, it's super cute, number 6, another sitting down reindeer, I think, it might be a dog, who knows, it's cute though, number 7, number 8, and number 9, which has a lovely little snowman outside. And there is a layout on Country Cottage Needleworks website which shows you how you can lay them all out into a grid of 3x3 to make the 9 patterns into a glitter village. So I did start this a while ago, and if you've seen this before, apologies. I started it, this was the project that got me back into cross stitching. I saw Priscilla Blaine was stitching this, and when that was one of the first floss tubes that I watched, was Stitching with the Housewives, and I saw that Priscilla was stitching this and I fell in love with it and wanted to stitch it so badly it got me back into cross stitching. I bought, the called for fabric is a 32 count Zweigart raw with silver in silver threads, so that it's all sparkly and pretty, and I couldn't get hold of it at the time, so I bought an opalescent 32 count Belfast linen and thought, oh, that would be pretty, and I could not see to stitch on it at all. At that point I had no magnifier, nothing, and I just was very despondent and downhearted because I couldn't do it on the fabric I wanted to stitch it on. So I bought some Ada. This is a 14 count Ada, and started stitching it on this, and I do like it, but I don't love it, and this is the problem. So I got this far and realised that I stopped stitching on it. I sort of lost interest because it wasn't really what I'd set my heart on. So I put this away for the longest time, and I've decided to have another go, and I'll show you in haul in a moment. I've bought some of the called for fabric, and I've had to replenish my supply of threads because obviously having got this far, I was a little bit low on some of the classic Colourworks colours. So the plan is I'm going to take this first row of houses like so, because that row's complete, and combine it with this Christmas candy fabric and make a project bag to pop it in so that it doesn't go to waste. And hopefully once I start on the new fabric, it will just rekindle my love of this design, and I will actually get a finish. It won't be this year, I'm sure it will be something for next year, but I am really looking forward to restarting it. And that's the opalescent, and the light isn't really showing, you can't see. This is an opalescent Belfast 32 count, which I'll keep for something else. So let's scoop all these patterns up and pop them away. So that's the plan for that one. And there's still a couple more to share. And what else is in the basket? Okay, the next thing in the basket is, oh, we're still on the hoop in here. Let's have a little look. This is another Laurie Holt pattern, and this is the Vintage Christmas Sampler. And I did make, stitch and fully finish 6 of these last year and made into little pillows, which were really, really cute. If I remember, I'll pop a photo up of my finished pillows that I did last year. And the plan is to get the rest of them finished this year, and I'm using a gold sparkly Ada, which works perfectly for these. And as you can see, excuse the hoop still being in there, I normally take hoops out, but I've got the designs pretty much stitched. I'm just working the borders on, and then I'll add the little buttons, because I think the mitten has a button. I know there's a button in the middle of the ornament, and certainly on the Christmas tree. So again, low-hanging fruit, definitely finishes that are achievable this month. I say that, but then I start so many new things that some of these poor projects get left by the wayside. So that's another lovely Christmas project. And finally, in here, this is the last thing that I can actually show you, because there is something else, but I'm waiting on my pattern. So this is Peppermint Lane from It's So Emma, and this has been this is actually currently a stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop cross stitch, and I have got everything ready. I haven't actually started yet. I'm going to be stitching mine. Forgive me while I just get my fabric and my flosses to show you. I'm going to be stitching mine on this 32 count Murano splash, and because the gingerbread men here are in the aqua colour, I'm going to switch them up. I've done some, where's that colour gone? I think it's DMC 435. I'm going to do my gingerbread men in this colour, and the rest of the colours are pretty much as called for. I can't remember if the pattern calls for, yeah, it's DMC, so the rest are called for. And on a recent Flosstube, Kimberly Jolly on Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube did mention that lots of people had said about switching the colours out of the gingerbread men, and she had a really good idea, as she often does, was that if you're going to switch the gingerbread men out to brown, then to try and incorporate a little bit of the same colour elsewhere on the pattern, so that your eye isn't just drawn straight to the brown of the gingerbread men, because that will sort of stand out and not blend so much. So I thought if I do the trunks of the trees, and that was one of Kimberly's suggestions. So I'm looking forward to making a start on that. I am getting really hot in here. Okay, so I've got my eye on, well, I say I've got my eye on it, I've got it ordered. The new Laurie Holt Christmas pattern, which is snowballs for sale. I know last year in the autumn she released pumpkins for sale with the really cute scarecrow, and this time it's a snowman with snowballs for sale. I'll pop a picture up here of the pattern. I have got, I'll show you in haul, I've got the fabric and I've got the DMC ready to go. I'm just waiting on the pattern to arrive, and then I can make a start on that one too. So that is an empty basket and all my Christmas in July whips and new starts. So I hope you enjoyed seeing those. Although it doesn't feel very Christmassy here at all in July. So I'm going to pop that down there now, out of the way. I'm just going to cool down for a second and I'll be right back. We had some giveaways last episode, and let's announce the winners of those. Sorry you've had to wait a little while to find out. I had some patterns that were given by a lovely viewer, donated to us here at Bumble Stitches, and one giveaway was for Star Spangled Swine Farm and Carrots and Cottontails Farm. And the winner of these two patterns is N White. So congratulations, N White. I'll put a little photograph up here of your winning comment from Comment Picker. It's a randomly generated comment picker. There were 116 entries for this one, so congratulations, N White. I hope you enjoy your patterns. And the other one is, the other prize is, these are all hands-on designs patterns. What one's this? Sunflower Manor and Fresh Eggs Farm. And the winner of this is Kelly Eldred. So congratulations to you, Kelly. And if both winners can contact me on my email address, which you'll find in the description box just down below here, and let me know your postal address, I'll get those out in the post to you as soon as I can. And thank you for those of you that have been previous winners that have let me know when your prize arrives. It's nice to know that things have got to you safely, and that you're enjoying those prizes. I'm going to show you some haul now. I've got a few bits and pieces that I've acquired since I last spoke to you, and then after that we'll have a little look at some new things from Fat Quarter Shop and have some giveaways for today. But first of all, onto my haul. The first thing I wanted to share with you is the final part of Prim Stitch series, which is Hands and Heart to God. And I was really looking forward to this design. I'm still nowhere near ready to stitch it yet, but I think it's a lovely design, and I'm getting the feeling, because of seeing various sort of primitive designs, that this is quite a classic sort of motif for samplers. So I was pleased to see that arrive, because now I have the full set. The other thing that arrived from Fat Quarter Shop, my own personal things, is my Sew by Row Block of the Month kit, and this is month 4, and this is for the checkerboard star row here, and this is a sew along from Fat Quarter Shop using Laurie Holt's Sew by Row quilt pattern, which is beautiful. And no, I haven't started it yet, and yes, I'm really looking forward to starting it. Another block of the month that I'm a member of is the Nebula quilt pattern by Jaybird Designs using Tudor Pinks fabrics. So that fabric pack arrived as well. I'll quickly show you. I haven't actually opened this one yet. This is very vibrant and not really normally my sort of colour choices. I'll just arrange these so you can see the fabrics. But there was something about the overall design that I just really liked, hence joining the Block of the Month club. So these are really quite vibrant fabrics, but beautiful, all Tudor pink fabrics there. So they will sit happily until it's their time to shine. And I was watching Jan Hicks' Flosstube. I'm a regular viewer of her Flosstube, and she does a little section where she visits an Etsy shop and shares the designs in the Etsy shop with us while we view. And one that she looked at recently was, and I need to try and get this name right, Atelier des Fées Brodeuses. I don't speak French, but anyway, she showed designs. My printer went a little bit funky here. You get the gist. I'm going to pop a photograph in here though, because this printed copy does not do this chart justice. So I'm going to pop a photograph here so you can have a look at it. And when I saw this design on Jan Hicks' video, I rushed over to Etsy and ordered it straight away. Now the designer, Marie, is in France, and although it's sold as a printed copy pattern, she contacted me, and I think she would for most overseas purchasers, and offered me the chance to buy it as a PDF, which saved on postage and customs charges, so that was very welcome. So I'm really looking forward to getting this stitched, and I think it will make a nice companion piece to my Modern Folk Embroidery Jane Austen piece, which is the I think it's called Home Comforts or something similar. I think it will make a really nice companion piece, because that's grey stitched on sort of like quite a pale linen, and this will be grey linen with a pale thread on. So I think there'll be nice sort of companion pieces. So that was a little extra purchase. And then I hinted earlier about my glitter village and how I wanted to do it on the called for fabric. Now that I've got my super magnifier, I feel ready to tackle it. I bought some fabric from Wool Warehouse here in the UK, and the stuff comes really nicely packaged in these organza bags, which is an extra bit of storage. So I bought from there, let me just get everything out. Okay. So I bought a pack of the Zweigart Belfast linen, and this is the 32 count raw silver. And I don't know if, let's take it out of the packaging and you may be able to see it. Oh, excuse that horrible noise when you undo plastic. Let's see if we can see it a little bit clearer. Can you see it there? It has the silver thread woven into the linen, and it just gives Glitter Village that extra bit of sparkle, which is what I think was lacking in my Ada version and why I wasn't really loving it as much as I should have been. I did restock again, as I mentioned, on some, let's put these on the board, on some threads for Glitter Village, and it calls for, I think it's all classic colourworks actually, and if I get them all laid out. Here we go. So I bought the classic colourworks top-ups that I needed, and instead of buying the bamboo, I've just been using DMC 3865 for the snow and the snowflakes on that design. Oh, there's another couple here, look, cobbled peach and lettuce leaf that seem to have not wanted to join in. So you can see it's a lovely palette of threads for those designs. And a long time ago, I was talking about that project on the Flosstube and mentioned that I was having problems with the metallic thread. It's got quite a lot of gold metallic in that design. And lots of you recommended the Petite Treasure Braid, which is from, I think it's Rainbow Gallery is the manufacturer. And I got this from Lakeside Needleworks here in the UK. And although it's metallic, you can feel straight away that it's much softer and pliable, and I think it'll be much easier to stitch with. So I'm going to be using that in my Glitter Village, which is Glitter Village Take 3. So I've got everything I need for that. There's no more excuses. So Take 3 will be the final cut of that project. And finally, on my haul section, well, it's not quite finally, but I did get the fabric ready for the snowballs for sale, which I just mentioned by Laurie Holt. I've got the 25 count Lugana that's called for. I know Laurie does her own version, but I just grabbed the Zweigart because it was easier for me to get hold of. It doesn't actually say the colour on here, but I think it's like the mushroom shade. So I bought that and the DMCs all ready to go for when that arrives, which I think is imminent. I think it's been dispatched, so I should be looking out, stalking the postman for that soon. So that's all the actual sort of stitchy and sewing stuff that I got. But I did share on my Instagram about a week or so ago, one of my new friends and a lovely colleague from work, Tanya of Herbert's Cottage. I'll put a link just at the bottom of the screen. You can find her on Instagram. She is an amazing crafts person and she makes painted jars. And she made me this, which is my little painted jar. It's a kilner jar, which is kind of the equivalent of the mason jars that you get in the States. And it's all hand painted with the polka dots and the white lid. And then she personalised it with bumble stitches. So I'm going to keep this on my sewing table next to my sewing machine. You can see I put my little thread milk design ruler in there, and I've had some scissors in there and just little bits and pieces. I can pop a rotary cutter in there or any fabric marking pens, things like that. But yes, Tanya makes these jars and she does them for all different purposes. If you can use them for kitchen canisters, she does a range of canisters for your kitchen, and of course she does these personalised style, so you can have choose your colour and what you want to say on it. Unfortunately, she does only ship to the UK because of the nature of these being glass jars. They would be a little bit delicate to ship overseas. But if you're in the UK and you're interested, then do pop along to Tanya's website. I'll put a link in the description box below, and do give her a follow on Instagram if that's your thing. But thank you, Tanya, that was such a beautiful gift, and I'll treasure that for years to come on my sewing table. Okay, I'll be right back with what's new at Fat Quarter Shop. First of all, I'd like to give a really big thank you to Kimberly and her team at Fat Quarter Shop for sending me these beautiful things through the post. Just totally delighted when I got home from work the other day and Justin said, there's a parcel for you, and there was this box of goodies from Fat Quarter Shop. So thank you, Kimberly, it's very generous of you and very much appreciated. So I thought I'd just leave everything in the box and I'd go through what was sent, and there will of course be some giveaways for all of you guys. So let's make a start. First thing out of the box is the beautiful, beautiful flea market flowers pattern from Laurie Holt of Be In My Bonnet, and I'm sure you're all familiar with this chart, and I've got this one as a whip and had to wait patiently for it to arrive here in the UK. So here's another copy. This is not my copy, this is a brand new copy sent by Fat Quarter Shop. So this will be appearing in a giveaway really soon. There is a stitch along. I think it may be almost at an end, but of course you can join in at any point and just stitch at your own pace. It's charted for DMC, so it needn't cost the earth to stitch it. You can stitch it on Ada, you can stitch it on linen, anything you like, but every version I've seen of this particular chart has been absolutely beautiful. So that's our first item out of the box. Now, how am I going to manage this? Where am I going to put everything? Let's put that there. No, let's put it there. Okay. I'm going to need a bigger conservatory at this rate. The next item out of the box is another beautiful, beautiful contribution from Laurie Holt of Be In My Bonnet, and this is the Kaleidoscope book. This is Laurie's latest book, and it's quilting primarily, but she does also have a cross stitch pattern in here as well, which I think is amazing, because then you get the best of both worlds. And if you're like me, and I know like a lot of you, you enjoy both crafts, so you get everything in this book. There's some images on the back of some of the gorgeous pillows as well that are featured, and let me share some images with you without obviously giving away the patterns. So these are the cross stitch designs, and if you're a viewer of Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube, you will have seen these. This is the kaleidoscope cross stitch pattern, and it's interesting that they've shown it in different colourways so that you can stitch it to suit the colour scheme of your own home. And then Laurie goes on to give you lots of options on colours and groups, colour groupings that will work nicely together. And if you're colour choosing challenged like I am, I know there's sort of colour wheel tools and things like that that you can use to help you make good colour choices, but it's a bonus when a designer as talented as Laurie has done all the hard work for you. So that's all in the book. And there are also again images of the beautiful pillows, and I want to find a nice image, some images there of the kaleidoscope quilt. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, what's next? What is next? There's another book now, and this is Among the Stars again, which is a block of the month quilt, and this one is designed by, I think it's an it's an It's So Emma pattern, designed by the fabulous designers at It's So Emma, which is obviously part of Kimberly Jolly's Fat Quarter Shop, and gives you an option there for a different colourway. And this goes into all the information that you need, all the fabrics that you need, and gives you some really lovely photographs of those quilts there. Okay, there's still plenty more in this box. Next up is this super cute mini cutting mat, and this is made by It's So Emma for Fig Tree & Co, which is Joanna Figueroa. Am I saying that right? Figueroa, I think that's right. And it's green on the front and peach on the back. How pretty is that? That's super cute. And if you go to retreats and things like that, that is really, really handy. Then we have a template set, and you just see there these little acrylic templates, and the pattern is the Oregon Trail, and it's a pattern by Joanna Figueroa and Carrie Nelson, and it's a quilt that's featured in the Scrapbook of Quilts book. So I don't know if any of you have that book already or have got your eye on getting that book, but these templates would be really indispensable for doing that pattern. I told you the generosity of this parcel was just amazing. There's another set of stitch cards in here from Laurie, and this is set I. And what have we got here? The butterfly, the cake on the little cake stand, which is really pretty, a little house, and the dolly. I think they are really, really pretty. So, and it just shows you on the back there's one of the cards a bit bigger. Next up we have two more quilt patterns, and this one is the festive quilt pattern, and this one gives you sizes and instructions for a table runner, crib size, lap size and queen size, again published by It's So Emma. And this one is the Embark quilt pattern. Really good choices of fabric there, very patriotic. And this comes in lap and king size. and they always give you all the fabric requirements really clearly on the back. They give you all the SKU numbers if you want to use the exact fabrics, but of course you can always make your own fabric choices, and if you've got a nice healthy fabric stash, you can dig into some of that with these patterns. Still more to come. Okay, next up we have got number 11 and 12 in the Prim Stitch series. So this is Gratitude and Grace with the lovely pear on a stand and some beautiful, look like cornflowers, and then the pattern that I just showed you earlier, which was my own copy, and this is Hands and Heart to God, number 12. So those two as well. Shall I see if there's anything else in this box? We have got now, these are a new product, and these are the cross stitch finishing dots, and we've got the large size, which is the 1.5 inch, and the 3/4 inch size, and these are double-sided acid-free adhesive sticky dots for finishing your cross stitch projects. So you can use these to adhere cross stitch to some mount board, you can use them to adhere embellishments, you can use them to pop on a library card, like the Laurie Holt library cards on the back of your work, detailing when you stitched it, who it was for, what materials you used, all that kind of information. There's so many uses for these, and these are a big pack. I think there are 144 of these in this pack, and there are 240 of these little dots in this one. And of course you could use these if you're a paper crafter as well. You can use these for so many purposes, so really super handy and a great new product. Okay, we are almost at the end, but you're going to have to excuse the crinkling because there's going to be some crinkling. There are some of their new Mad for Plaid project bags. I'm going to leave these in the plastic. So these are a good size, as you can see. If I get one of my project bags up from the floor, and we can compare the sizes. So that's the size of my project bag. So you can see a little bit shorter, but quite a bit wider. And these do have a gusseted bottom, so they will stand up and give you that option of, and you could even put several projects in, smaller project bags in one of these. Again, they're an It's So Emma product. They've got the little tag on the end here, little sort of leatherette tag with It's So Emma on, a really nice sturdy zip, and this sort of plastic mesh material, which is really easy to keep clean. And you can even cross stitch through these. If you look on Fat Quarter Shop's YouTube channel, on the Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube, that's a tongue twister. If you look on their YouTube, you can find a tutorial showing you how to actually stitch and personalise your bag. So these are fab, and we have got one and a grey one. So this is the olive, this is the charcoal, and finally the berry. So lots of lovely goodies. Now I am very tempted, and I think I will keep the berry bag for myself, and I hope you don't mind. I think I'm going to treat myself to the Kaleidoscope book from Laurie, but everything else I will get into giveaway prizes for you all. And as I mentioned, I'm more than happy to send these internationally, but do consider buying me a coffee just towards the postage. That would be amazing. I know you guys are wonderful. So I think I'm just going to check my notes because I think we're almost there. So let me just get together the giveaways for today and work out some keywords for you, and I'll be right back with those. Now on to the giveaways for this episode. I've just sorted out some little bundles of goodies from the products I just shared with you from Fat Quarter Shop, and I hope you're going to like what I've put together. As always, to be entered into the giveaways, please like this video, please be a subscriber to my channel. I'm so very close to 8,000 subscribers, and I'd really like to hit that mark. If you can be a subscriber, that would be brilliant. You need to be over 18 to enter the giveaway, because I will need to ask you for your postal address. And when you use the keyword in the comments, please don't use the word giveaway or free or any of those sort of words that would encourage people that we might not want to be included in our giveaways. So the prizes are, I've put together the 2 prim patterns and the large cross stitch finishing dots. And if you can use the keyword for this prize as prim, so P-R-I-M, prim. So I need to put these separately, don't I, so I don't get confused. Okay, the next prize is going to be the Among the Stars Again quilt pattern book, the fig tree cutting mat. This is so pretty, really pretty, and the festive quilt pattern as well. So if you'd like to be entered into the giveaway for these, please use the word fig, F-I-G, in your comment. And finally, excuse me leaning, some rustling going on so you know what's coming up. We've got the Mad for Plaid charcoal bag, the Flea Market Flowers cross stitch pattern, and the small cross stitch finishing dots. And if you would like to be in with a chance of winning this pile of gorgeousness, please use the word flea, F-L-E-A. And I'm really looking forward to seeing your comments that involve the words flea, fig and prim, because some of you are very imaginative with your comments for the giveaways. I feel I've been talking for far too long, and I am way too hot sitting in this conservatory today, so I'm going to leave it there. And thank you all once again for your continued support and all the love that you give to my Flosstube. It is appreciated so much. I can't express how much I value you all. So have a lovely stitchy time until I see you again, and take care. Bye.